Welcome to Screw the Commute, the entrepreneurial podcast dedicated to getting you out of the car and into the money. With your host, lifelong entrepreneur and multimillionaire, Tom Antion.
Hey everybody, it's Tom here with episode 85 of Screw the Commute podcast. Today we're going to talk about crowdfunding, or how to get the money for your creative projects and never have to pay it back. How cool is that? Now, last episode was 84, Art Subcheck. This guy is the greatest at something I absolutely hate. That's calling people to try to get business, commonly known as cold calling. I haven't done it for, 30 years. I made one cold call and got sick to my stomach over it. Now, Art has coined the term smart calling, which makes this marketing task much less cold, and his techniques can make you money. So check it out, episode 84. Now, our podcast app is now available in the iTunes store, or you can go to screwthecommute.com/app, and we have instructions on how to work it, and it'll do all kinds of cool things, save your favorite episodes, and make it easy for you to listen on your tablet or your cell phone. All right, now we're also starting our monthly youth episodes where I highlight a young person doing great entrepreneurial things. So you can email me at orders@antion.com for details on how a young person can apply to be featured. Our first young person was Tiffany Hawkins, who's a young girl helping other young girls. So check out her episode. All right, our sponsor this week, it's me again, and the Tom Antion Internet Marketing Retreat and Joint Venture Program, where myself and my staff work with you for a year to get you either started in an internet business or to use the internet to take your existing business to the next level. I'll tell you more about that later, but the details at greatinternetmarketingtraining.com, greatinternetmarketingtraining.com, and that'll be in the show notes as always. All right, let's get to the main event. Get the money you need for your business or personal projects and never have to pay it back. That's crowdfunding. So what exactly is crowdfunding? Well, it's where you get lots of people to participate in your projects. And I emphasize the word participate or contribute, because everyone that gives you money gets something in return, as opposed to donations, where people just give money for the satisfaction of doing it and maybe get a tax deduction. Now, there are over 400 websites that help facilitate crowdfunding efforts. And some of the best known are Kickstarter.com, GoFundMe.com, Indiegogo.com, and another one, Patreon.com. Now, these sites take a percentage of the money that you raise. And most of the big players take about 8%, plus a per transaction fee of about 20 cents every time somebody contributes. Now, you don't have to use a crowdfunding site. You could just collect the money on your website and save yourself a few percentage points. But in most cases, you would be giving up some significant things by collecting the money on your site. See, the big sites have credibility. I mean, people generally feel more comfortable doing business with a big, well-known site. And also the big sites have millions of visitors that could participate in your promotion even though they never heard of you. See, if they like your idea, they kick in some money. And these sites take care of all the technology. They collect the money. They have an email system to keep in touch with the people who participate. And I was almost said donors, but remember, these are not donations. People are participating and they get something in return for their money. Now, one thing to keep in mind is that these sites mostly do not collect money for charitable causes. There are plenty of sites that collect for charities. These sites are specifically designed to collect money for creative campaigns. Although I have heard of people using crowdfunding to fund their dental work and, well, let's say other cosmetic procedures that I can't really talk about on this podcast. I guess certain bodily enhancements, I guess that could be considered a creative project or campaign. I don't know. Another thing about the crowdfunding sites, you want to choose the site that has campaigns similar to yours because more people interested in your type of campaign will be visiting the site and looking at your campaign. Now, there's been lots of success stories. You can look them all up online. There's a couple of my favorites. One is this lady who was reading to young children in the ghetto, just to try to keep them away from the bad things that were happening on the streets. She wanted to raise enough money to get a little cubby hole of a storefront where young children could come for her to read to them. I think she needed about $4,000 for rent and furniture. And I don't remember the exact figure she ended up with, but it was something like $111,000, all right, because the campaign was so heart-touching. Another guy invented an iPhone accessory, and he needed, I think, $15,000 for a prototype. He got publicity on one of the big sites like Gizmodo or Wired or something. I can't really remember. Ended up with $365,000. All right. You can look these up, and there's loads more stories like this. But there's another side to this. See, far more crowdfunding campaigns fail miserably because people don't plan them carefully, and they don't give them enough time to get all the planning in place. Well, before I get into telling you about planning, so let me tell you a little bit about why people participate. See, many people wonder, why would anybody participate and put in money into your campaign, especially if they didn't know you? Well, there's several reasons. One, let's say they know you and they want to support you. That's pretty simple. Kicking in a few bucks for a friend's campaign is no big deal, and it won't break the bank. Two is people trade participating in campaigns. In other words, I give you $100 for your campaign and you give me $100. Well, you might think, well, that doesn't make any sense. But it does make perfect sense when you consider when you thank me for my $100, I will be put in front of all your friends and followers. And when I thank you for your $100, you'll be put in front of all my friends and followers. So we help each other out. Number three, people just like the idea. Like the two examples above, most of the people that participated didn't even know the person they were giving money to. They just liked the campaign, and this is one of the benefits of being on the big and reputable sites. You have the potential for millions of people to see your campaigns. And number four, potential investors contribute to campaigns they might want to take a part in a bigger way. They might want to see how you treat people and how well you run your business. And if they like what they see, they might swoop in with a big offer to buy your company or invest heavily in your campaign. Now, in this case, you would have to give up part of the business. These investors are not going to pony up big bucks in exchange for a ball cap or a T-shirt or something, right? And speaking of ball caps and T-shirts, these would be examples of what we call perks. Perks are what a person gets for participating in your crowdfunding promotion. You've seen them on PBS and so forth, where, you give so much to a thing they're doing on TV and you get a T-shirt, or that kind of thing. And you have different levels of perks for different amounts of money. So let's say someone contributes $5. Well, their perk might be that you thank them and give them a shout out on Facebook and Twitter. Maybe $20 gets you a digital download, a PDF or an audio or video or something. And maybe $50 gets you the ball cap or the T-shirt. Maybe $100 gets you a 15-minute consultation. Maybe $500 gets you a producer's credit. Let's say if you were doing a video production or something like that, or a film. Perks can be anything of value. Now, I suggest you look over many crowdfunding promotions to see the things other people are giving out as perks. See, if you have to, another thing you got to think about, if you have to ship your perk, make sure you account for the cost of the perk, the postage, the packaging, and the handling. If you have to pay someone to haul them to the post office, that's handling fees. You don't want all the money you got to be eaten up in sending the perk, right? Because you won't have any money left over for your campaign. All right, the next issue is realistic goals. See, if you're let's say you're publishing a basic business book. It's a little bit ridiculous to make a goal of $1 million. I mean, the chances of you getting that, even if you are a celebrity, are pretty slim. And some systems require you to meet your goal or you don't get any of the money. I mean, I guess their plan was to keep people's goals more realistic so there would be more overall successes on their system. Makes them look better. On the other hand, you shouldn't cut yourself so short that even if you reach your goal, there's not enough money to do what you set out to do. You really need to do a budget and really figure out how much money you actually need, and then put a little bit over to take care of any unforeseen problems that might arise. Now, there's a concept of overfunding. Now, this is the best thing that can happen is if you reach your funding goal and then people keep contributing so that you exceed your goal. I mean, this should mean you have plenty of money to accomplish your original campaign. And to keep the overfunding momentum going, you might announce on your crowdfunding site and in the correspondence you have with people that have participated, what you're going to do with that extra money. Maybe you can now afford to print up more books, or maybe you can build 2 prototypes of your project rather than 1. Or maybe you can advertise more, or whatever makes sense for your campaign. Keep people advised of it. Now, you need to make a video. Now, again, I want to reemphasize that you should spend lots of time looking at other people's crowdfunding campaigns to get ideas. And many of them will have a video telling about the campaign and all the great perks people will get for participating. You'd want to tell how you got the idea and all the great things you want to do with your campaign. I mean, show your personality, make people want to help you, show your passion. And this video does not have to be professionally produced. I mean, unless you're pitching a film or video campaign that, you need the money to create a film. They want to know you're capable. But being homemade looking can be an advantage, because if it's too slick, people think you don't really need the help or need the money. A student of mine raised, I think, about $4,400 with just a cell phone video. And she had the written text underneath in case someone would rather read than watch a video. All right, momentum. Now, the reason you really want to plan ahead before you make your crowdfunding efforts go live is the topic of momentum. You want to have your biggest supporters ready to jump on the crowdfunding site the moment your campaign goes live. That way, when others that don't know you as well visit, they'll be influenced to go ahead and participate. No one wants to contribute to a losing cause. If they see no one else has contributed, they may think, it's a bad campaign, and you do not want them thinking that. So, you get everyone who has already agreed to contribute to do it as soon as possible when you go live. Another thing you can do to take advantage of momentum is to add additional perks as the campaign goes along. I've witnessed many people who participated near the beginning come back and participate again just to get one of the new perks. All right, now you really have to plan this. Let's go ahead and talk about planning now. You should plan a minimum of 30 days out for smaller campaigns and 60 to 90 days out for really big campaigns. One thing you want to do immediately is start brainstorming on every single person in your life you think would participate. I mean, one of my students was in her 30s. She was hitting up people she went to grade school with. and they came through, a lot of them, $5, $10, $15, $20. The reason you want to do this well in advance is that you can't possibly just sit down and think of everyone you know. As you start brewing on this, in your mind, every day prior to the launch, you'll think of more people. You need to capture these people either by audio or writing a note to yourself right away. Now, besides thinking of them, you have to make sure you know how to contact them. People move, they change their phone numbers, they get married, which means their last names might change and all that stuff. You won't want to wait till the last minute to contact these people. You want them anticipating launch day, and you have to keep after them. I mean, people that totally love you as a friend still have their own lives, and they probably aren't wrapped up in your world. So without being a pest, you have to keep after people who have promised to help you. So it's a lot of work. You have to plan out your video. You have to plan out and possibly create your perks and the perks you plan to add to keep momentum going up. And you have to do your budget to see how much money you actually need. I mean, you have to pick which platform you're going to use, which means you have lots of research to do to find which one's better for you, Indiegogo, Kickstarter, whatever. Maybe you need promotional graphics made up. Maybe you make a business card specifically for the promotion. You have to prepare thank you emails and social media posts and tweets and a ton of other little details. That's why we plan. And the reason many people fail at crowdfunding is they simply throw something together thinking, hey, this is easy money. I assure you it is not. Besides the pre-planning, you have to work things hard for the entire length of the promotion. If you don't, it's probably going to fizzle very fast. And speaking about length of promotion, you can go, I think, sometimes up to 90 days on the actual promotion, but you'll be exhausted by that time. So what I like to do is hit it fast, the 30 days max, and just concentrate all your efforts right there. Okay, here's some best practices to keep in mind when doing a crowdfunding campaign. And just know that this is a lot of work, but the money's out there if you just go out and get it. All right, best practices. Well, tell a great story about your campaign and why you're the one to make it happen. Of course, with their help by participating. Thank people often and thank them publicly unless they want to remain anonymous. Now, without being a pest, remind people constantly of what you're doing. Some of your best allies and friends are busy, and chances are your crowdfunding campaign is not the number one thing on their mind every day. You have to remind them. Network and talk about your campaign constantly. You may convert people that don't even know you because they like the idea and they like your enthusiasm. Send out email and messenger broadcasts. Place the event prominently on your website or blog. Shoot YouTube videos about your campaign. Do publicity stunts. I mean, one guy went on a marathon, no sleep night on Facebook Live and said, I will not leave Denny's until I hit so many contributors. Keep your contributors in the loop of how things are going and thank them profusely and encourage them to tell others about the campaign. So that's a little bit about crowdfunding. Not a hard concept to understand, but there's a lot of work involved. It's not just free money floating in. You've got to work, plan, set up all the perks, do all these things we talked about here. So, but you can get that money if you plan, and then go get it. All right. The sponsor is, again, this might be becoming a broken record with you, but I'm just so proud of the things we do here. And I kind of turned the internet marketing training world on its head around the year 2000. I mean, people were charging $50,000 or $100,000 up front to teach what they knew to clueless business people who refused to learn it. And I'm a small business advocate, and I knew many small businesses could never afford that kind of money up front. So I made all those gurus mad by charging a relatively small entry fee to my program that also got a percentage of profits that was capped. So you're not stuck with me forever. So for me to get my big money, you have to make way bigger money. Plus, I'm not going to disappear on you because I won't get any more money. And I even took it one step further. That's never been done before. I have a big estate home and TV studio where my students, as part of their year-long training, come and actually stay in my house for an immersion weekend. And that's just one of the unique features of the program. So check out the full details at greatinternetmarketingtraining.com, greatinternetmarketingtraining.com, and I'll have it in the show notes. Okie doke. Next episode is 86. Sabrina Starling. She was such a fun lady. She's a PhD. She's the business psychologist, and she really is up on and a master of hiring. And I know a lot of us struggle with that. And she has some great ideas, and she didn't even get mad about my crazy ideas of hiring that I told her on on her podcast when she interviewed me. Anyway, check that out and download the app, screwthecommute.com/app. And please, if you can do it, go over and give us a review on iTunes and a star rating. So I'd really appreciate it. It helps the show really thrive. All right, catch you on the next episode.